Hello everyone, I'm Pet297 and today I'd like to show you how to make an extended basic Sparta remix in Sparta Remix Studio. All we will need today is to run SRS, make and save a project, find the extended base and find a source and up to, let's say, 5 samples in it to make a very basic extended Sparta remix. If you'd like to make more advanced Sparta remixes, then wait for other parts. And also you can try making freestyle by yourself by using what you have learned here. So let's do it. Open the Sparta Remix Studio in C# in Visual Studio 2017 and run it. Now SRS is running. What do we do if we want to start a new project? Well, by default nothing is loaded, so all we have to do is just start making our remix and then save it. So basically you are starting a new project by default, unless you decide to open a project. So click on the WSAMP. What do we do here? We open a source and find samples. Also we can open the extended base here. So we want to open the base, so let's name our source, which contains the base, and let's place it under group base. Or actually, you don't really need this grouping system for this basic Sparta remix. However, in second and third tutorial we will be adding to it. So I recommend you do this. You place it under the base group and you name it the base. Now we are asked to open our base. Find your own place for extended base. I have it here on my computer. Open it. You can also open a video file containing a base. Let's see what we have here. We have the extended base. Now we need to turn it into a sample that can be placed on timeline. A 2-minute long sample. So we name this base, as in the sample base SMP, and we will put it in the group base and isolate base. This generates a 2 minutes long sample that we can place on timeline. Let's see, we have sources, base. You can place the source there directly, however you won't get precise timing by doing this. Like, you could try to get a precise timing, but really, I recommend placing this base SMP. Let's see, I defined a new track by clicking on it like that. So now we'll place your base. As you can see, it starts like this, done, done, done. It's precisely timed. So now zoom out by left clicking on the view, right clicking will zoom in. And stretch the base as long as you need it. That means you can see that the base ends here. So stretch it up to beat, I believe it's 76 beats. Now let's zoom back. Now we need to place our samples and first we need to get them. But before going into samples, let's save our project. So I recommend using one directory to save your projects. Navigate to your directory. Mine is root srsp10. So you can see all the tests. I have here even the 70-second Sparta remix. I'm actually working on one right now. But have the directory highlighted, the directory you place your project in, and click on create new directory. This creates a new directory inside. And let's name it SRS Tut1. That's all, 1. Basic series. Now the directory is highlighted and click on OK to save the project. Open WSAMP. As you can see, it opened the Sparta extended base because we have it's the last we have opened. You can reopen an existing source like this. Now I have opened the base, but now let's make a new source. Let's call it DTH, Dylan the Hacker, and we will name it sources. This is the group sources. So let's open a new VS and open our source.
This video is directed.
It immediately starts playing. Now let's see. let's see what's the grouping all about. You can see the groups separates the sources from each other. If I had this DTH source in the base group, it would display here, next to the base. So this is what's the grouping all about. And now let's find our samples. I believe it's here, around...
binary. Do you understand me, boy?
Yes. Let's use this Do You Understand Me Boy as our 3 samples. We will also need a madness sample. So place this yellow marker in front of the speech, and it will extract 2.5 seconds. Now let's mark this to test play it.
Do you understand?
You can also test pattern. You can slightly tune it here. However, it doesn't matter. You can have per sample offset. I will show you what do I mean by that. Let's name it speech 1 and place it in the group name speech. Define sample. Now let's mark this one.
Damn me.
And the last one
Boy.
will be speech 3. Define sample. Now let's see what we have. We have till the base sample, and now we have 3 samples to make the Sparta remix of. Let's save the project again. Remember to save the projects a lot. Now let's try placing one of the samples.
Do you understand me, boy? You have 1 week to make another rant.
As you can see, 2 bits of the sample were playing. In order to place just a part of the sample, subdivide the timeline by changing this time step per beat. Time step, well, it's supposed to say time step. This is a book in the code that really doesn't matter. You can subdivide it as much as you want, and now let's zoom in. As you can see, you have one done here, another done here, and another done here. I'd suggest subdividing once more, and let's make our intro. Let's try just placing all these 3 samples. You will see it isn't right to do so, and you should play around more with the timing. Yes, also now I have this sample highlighted. So I have edited this sample. As you can see, I'm editing the timeline sample, so anytime you want to place a new sample, you have to actually click here. Now I'm not editing timeline samples. So let's see what we have right now.
Do you understand me, boy?
So just shorten it like this, for example.
Do you understand me? Do you understand me, boy?
Be sure to play around with it to see when it sounds the best. Boy. Let's try something like this.
Do you understand me, boy?
Now we will get to the patterns. You could build the pattern right here on the timeline, like so. Let's see. Yeah, we can do it by going to this pattern screen and defining a new pattern. We will place it into the group, sample patterns, sample path, and name it chorus 1. Because we can make more types of chorus. So let's create it. Now let's click on it to edit it. Let's subdivide. And now we can make our sample pattern. This is not a pitch pattern. So when you are defining sample patterns, click on this type pitch and change it to sample. Now we have a sample pattern. And now follow the 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1 pattern, the basic chorus pattern, and do it here. However, replace each one with a 0 and each two with a 1. In Sparta Remix Studio, things are numbered from 0. As you can see on timeline, the first track has number 0. So just place it like this. And now this is our 1 sample, and now our 2 sample, like this. This is the extended bass pattern. The default Sparta Remix pattern that almost everyone knows who has watched Sparta Remixes for a longer time or read about it. Autoflip it. The autoflip is a very useful feature for Spartans because there is one annoying thing about Sparta Remixes and it's all the flipping. Well, Sparta Remix Studios make it easy for you. Now we are editing a sample timeline. Instead go to pattern, and as you can see here, we can choose chorus 1. It has a space for 2 samples, and now let's try, for example, speech 2 and speech 3, and let's see how it turns out. Expand the pattern to take exactly 2 beats. As you can see, this is exactly 2 beats. Now let's see. I have no idea why the extended bass doesn't play.
Do you understand me, boy?
You can get even better by making changes to the per sample volume and per sample offset. What does it do? Well, try having listened to this. As you can hear, the second part is much quieter. They are equally as loud. You use per sample volume when one of the samples is too quiet and you want them to have them sound equally loud. Now per sample offset. Listen to this again. Now let's go a tenth of the second forward. It sounds different. This is offset inside the sample in seconds. You can also go negative. However, it seems that we have chosen our samples in a good way, so we don't have to do per sample offset. But for the purposes of the tutorial, I will have this set to 1. Now, use your... to start playing from the middle of the remix, not from beat 0, just click on anything on timeline and it will say set timer to wherever it starts. As you can see. And now, again, we are playing from 0.
Do you understand me, boy?
To use the autoflip, just click on autoflip. And click here to see what happened. Autoflip applies no effect to VS0 and a flipped effect to VS1. It also applies more effect to the other VS. What is VS? VS is visual style, and it has been defined in the pattern like this. The yellow samples are VS1 and the green samples are VS0. So whenever the pattern reader, the thing that displays this pattern here, reads VS0, it keeps it normal, and whenever it reads VS1, it flips the sample, so watch. The sample is auto-flipped. Now, we should save our project again. We should do this often. So now that we are happy with our pattern, let's just use mouse scroll wheel and press it once pointing on this. This will copy the thing and set it in our media library so we can place it exactly like this somewhere else. As you can see, it has the same settings, the same pattern, the same 2 samples, and the same timing. Now zoom out, set time step per beat to 384, and place the chorus everywhere where it should be. The extended bass goes like this: 2 choruses, 3 dun 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 duns, 4 choruses, 2 times epicness, 4 choruses. Now use time from to move on the timeline. Madness, 4 choruses, 6 epicness, and 6 choruses. As you can see, we have reached the end of the Sparta remix. I accidentally right-clicked on the bass and deleted it, so just go to sample and place the bass again. And now let's do the other samples, for example dun dun dan dan. Go to pattern again, create a new pattern, create it. As you can see, those two patterns are in the same category. It will be again sample pattern. It will go like this, the first sample, the second sample, and the third sample repeated 4 times. And let's try placing it to see how it sounds. Actually for dun dun dan dan I recommend doing it directly on timeline, because you can get more complex patterns with it. See how it sounds if we pick those 3 samples in order.
Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand?
Yes, like this. Also, the patterns are reusable. In the fourth tutorial, I will show you how to reopen patterns that you have used in other projects.
Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy?
Let's see what this
Do
one.
you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy?
As you can see, the audio and video are in sync.
Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy?
Probably it would be nice to have the sample flip in here on timeline. To do this, just click on this sample and click on VFX, go to FX edit and click on flip H. This applies the flip H effect, which is just flip, to this specific sample. Now click on this. As you can see, this one isn't flip. Click on its VFX and apply flip H to it too. Click on this one. Do it again. Apply flip H to it too. And now we will do the last one by copying. I have applied the flip H 3 times, but I could have just copied the sample. So just use middle mouse button, the scroll wheel, click on it, and place it here.
Do you understand me, boy?
And now we have auto flip. So let's see what we have now. Now we are missing epicness and madness. And that's all. Save the project. Save it under SRS tutorial 1 again. And now to the epicness. New pattern, epic. It will be under sample path and create. Click on epic to edit it. Now change type to sample. Now this is 2 beats. Our epicness is long 4 beats. How to do it? Let's skip time from to here. 1 3 1 3 3. This is how it's supposed to go. And now for the third sample. I also did it wrong. This is supposed to be. Yes. And now you can also place the 3 samples here. They will play. And they will show over the original samples. However, instead I recommend splitting it in 2 patterns. So you can do independent visual processing. But for now, let's have it like this. Yes. This is the epicness pattern. So let's go to timeline. Timeline. Pattern. Epicness. 1, 2, 3. Actually no. We have, for the chorus we used 2 and 3. So to override those samples, just click them in another order. Watch the first sample. Now watch the second sample. And now watch the third sample. I have picked them in a different order. Let's see how it sounds. Place it where the epicness is supposed to be. Place it again here, here, and here. Actually, no, the last epicness is supposed to be madness and intro combined. Like, I will show you how to do it. It will be named the post epicness. And we need one more thing, madness. And I would do madness in the same way we did intro. Directly on timeline. So now we need a good madness sample. So we'll go to WSAMP again. Open existing source. Let's open our DTH. Yes, let's just use Dylan the Hacker. It doesn't really matter for this trial, but we will start.
Dylan the Hacker.
So when I made, for example, madness 1 and place it under speech. Define sample. And now we need another Dylan the Hacker. Maybe we could open another source for the other sample. I know one source when he says Dylan the Hacker. Let's open a new source. DTH2. Place it under sources. Open a new VS. It's Dylan the Hacker going against Reddit. Yes, here it is. Dylan the Hacker is going to destroy Reddit.
Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. Dylan the Hacker is going to...
And let's extract this. Display.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker. So when I made madness 2 and place it under speech, define SMP. And now let's do the madness. Subdivide the timeline so you can see more samples. Go to sample so you are not editing anything on timeline. Place first sample here. Yes, I'm still editing the thing that's on timeline. Make sure to click sample again to place another one. And I believe it should be like this.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Yes, this is the exact speed. Watch the coloring on the timeline, which can tell you which beat you are on. Copy the samples like this.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Now the speed increases. And I'm off. The speed increase should be here.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the Hacker.
Dylan the
Dylan the
Dylan the
Dylan the
Let's make him say just Dylan. So shorten the samples as necessary.
Dylan
Dylan the
Dylan.
Copy, paste, paste. Copy, paste, paste. And subdivide again. And this could work out. Experiment with this result.
Dylan 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 Dylan.
Let's make another chorus pattern, because we will be doing the post epic now. New, chorus 2, create. This will look like the other chorus pattern, but this will be shorter. Also we need to make it sample pattern. Now, we want to have just something... we want to have those samples flipped normally, and those samples to be inverted. How do you do this? By going to VS4. You can zoom in to see the numbers better. Now this can be tedious setting all of these to 4, but you need to do this only once. Next time you're using this pattern you can just reload it from a different project. So just use hold down shift and use scroll wheel to change everything to 4. Now let's try placing it. Go to pattern, pick chorus 2, speech 2, speech 3, and let's see. It doesn't flip because I didn't auto flip it. Now it's auto flipped. Do you understand me? Boy. This is how I make the continuation, so let's see. Let's zoom in. Change the subdivision.
Do you understand me, boy?
And that's all. Let's try zooming out. Let's see if we have done everything. Yes, except for outro, we have done everything. This is our Spartan. You can also just replace some of the choruses with chorus 2 to make it have more variant. And You can also make some custom patterns and place them in. And if you want to have two visuals on a screen at a time, let's see, let's try doing it. Copy this here, go to transformation, click on it, fx edit, comp grid visual, and as you can see it is automatically set to 3x3 grid visuals. Position x1, let's change it to 0, as you can see, and you can go over the limit and use Alt to set the position by 1, to change the effect values by 1. So if you want to have freestyle, this is how you place more visuals on screen at a time. And that's all. Now that we have our Sparta remix ready, now we can go and render it. Be sure to save. There is one problem with Sparta Remix Studio, that when rendering it can crash, so make sure to save, and it will render the Sparta Remix and then crash. So you will do what you wanted, it will just crash. I don't really know what to do exactly with it. Press on render. As you can see, it warns you here. SRS might crash after rendering. Now, what's the length? Well, you can always check on timeline how long is your Sparta Remix. 76 beats. It's long 76 beats. And that's exactly why the default value here is 76. That's the default length of the extended band. And change FPS to 30 and press render. It will ask you for a directory. So let's go to this computer, D, root, SRS P10, and now the tutorial, SRS Tut1. Press OK. Now it's rendering. You can't tell, but let's see. This is how our project directory looks right now. So you can see all the bases, the sources, everything here. Now let's go back, and here is SRS Tut1 rendered. Let's see how it renders. This is the Sparta Remix that we are rendering. It is rendered frame by frame. If you are rendering 2 minutes Sparta Remixes, in total it should take at most, I believe, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Is this all? No, it is just loading some of the video sources. It was loading the other video source. Let's see, in total, they don't tell me how many gigabytes it is. Oh, just 1 gigabyte. Let's see, now the audio is being rendered. Audio has been rendered, and now we are using FFmpeg to render the video. Yes, video.mp4. Let's see. And this is our Sparta Remix.
Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me, boy? Do you understand me? Dylan the hacker.
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 Dylan
Dylan the
Dylan
Dylan the
Do you understand me, boy, boy, boy?
So, what do you think? You have just, if you followed everything in this tutorial, you have just made your first temporal Sparta Remix studio, Sparta Remix. Now, in the next tutorials, we will be adding stuff to the Sparta Remixes like pitch and percussion. Also freestyle tutorials and more. Now let's see. Done rendering! Good luck on not crashing, let's see if we crash or not. It crashed. Just, if this happens, just stop the program and run it again. And that's it. You can then open the project. One thing I didn't mention is per sample offset on a timeline. To achieve per sample offset on timeline, you can always do just watch this. Things like this. Now you are starting somewhere else in the sample. Another way to achieve per sample offset is to hold Shift Alt and use scroll wheel. Watch the video how it changes and how the audio starts somewhere else. So this is how you do per sample offset inside timeline. And this is everything I have to say. So bye, and see you at another tutorial where we'll be doing pitch.